Do you need to do the same exercise for weeks or months to get stronger, build muscle, or tone? I would say no, you don't, and here's why. Real quick, if you like the video, make sure to like this video and make sure to subscribe if you want more content like this. So how we will go over this video is with the pros and cons of switching exercises. So we will use two different scenarios for two different goals and my conclusions at the end. So pros, with number one being less injuries. So when you switch your exercises, you're less likely to get injured by a large percent. Since most injuries happen because of overuse of doing an exercise too many times, the shoulders, the knees, the hips, the wrists all have this problem, and the muscles rarely ever get injured seriously. Pro number two, get stronger in multiple positions as well as better muscle development. You get to work your weaknesses on a certain exercise, or if you're worried about muscle, you get to hit your muscle in all different angles for better muscle development overall. You can adjust the workout to how you're feeling, and you don't have to wait minutes in line for an exercise because you'll have multiple options instead of just one. And the last pro is you have more fun training. It helps you find several exercises that feel good and you enjoy. When you have more fun training, you also tend to stay longer and you can't get any results without being consistent. And now cons. So con number one is it is a lot of tracking. You should track every exercise that you do so you can see what you did last time, so you can see that your progress that you make over time. A lot of people have problems tracking their exercises because usually they just like going in, doing the exercises and leaving. But it's very, very important for you to do that when you're doing this kind of training, because you might not be able to see or do that exercise for several weeks. So you might forget it, or you might even go down 5 pounds or up 10 pounds. And now you're either doing too little weight or you're doing too much weight. So when you're tracking, it's always best to either write it down on a piece of paper or just put it in your phone so you can always look at it later. Con number two is experience makes this easier. If you're a beginner and you start working out, you're going to be sore when you work out. Now, if you're always changing your exercise, your body never really gets to learn how to do something correctly for a while. Instead of doing just one specific squat, you're now doing 5 or 8 different variations of it. And yes, a squat is still a squat, so you'll learn it eventually, but learning is a skill, and skill you need to repeat multiple times. So beginners, if you do this, I do recommend that your soreness will be a little bit higher than normal and it will last a little bit longer. And con number three, the final one, is this is a long-term plan. This isn't something for somebody trying to get strong in a squat very quickly, because if you were to squat, say 3 to 4 times a week versus squatting every other week with that same variation, that person that is squatting 3 to 4 times a week is going to get stronger quicker, no matter what, because they're going to be able to practice the lift and get better at it. But what you're going to do is you're not going to hit that plateau after a couple months of training, or maybe even a year, depending on the person, and you'll be able to pass them in the long term. As a side note, the person squatting 3 to 4 times a week is definitely more likely to get injured, because they're doing that same movement, using those same ligaments, the same tendons over and over again, versus you, the person number two, which is only squatting every other week. You should not get those problems because you're squatting different angles, using different exercises, so you're not doing the same thing over and over and over again, getting those overuse injuries. So let's talk about scenarios 1 and 2. Scenario number 1, you're only as strong as your weakest link. Say your goal is to get a stronger back squat. And basically a back squat is a bar sits on your back and you squat down with it. Now you have to squat to get better at squatting. That's very simple. But you don't have to do just one type of squat. For example, if you get stronger in your front squat, your back squat will also get stronger. And here's why. So if you knew or didn't know that your quads are one of the main muscle groups in a squat, any kind of squat. And the front squat is mostly front squats. So inherently, if you get stronger quads, you should get a stronger back squat. You have to work on the weaknesses for your back squat. For example, that could be quads, that could be hamstrings, that could be glutes, that could be lower back, that could be abs, and that could even be upper back. So if you work on any of those weaknesses that you know, when you're squatting, you will inherently get stronger over and over and over again because you won't have those weaknesses anymore. If you do back squats 1 to 2 times every other week, and while substituting them with different variations, you will make great progress, as well as not get those nagging overuse injuries that usually happen in the knees, the hips, the lower back, which are a common problem area for back squats. So if you just do the back squat, you're going to be hitting those joints, ligaments, and tendons the same way over and over and over again, and that's what causes your overuse injuries. Scenario number 2, your goal is to get better looking legs, and you don't even have to back squat to do it. Remember, a back squat is when the bar is sitting on your back and you're squatting. Now, I'm not saying you should do that because the back squat is one of the best leg building muscle exercises that you could possibly do. But you could do that every month or never and still have great looking legs. If you do other variations of squats like goblet squats, split squats, trap bar squats, what else is there? There's a ton of other different variations that you could do. You don't have to just do the barbell back squat. You just target the same muscles with different exercises. In my conclusion, do I think that you should do this type of training? Yes, this is the type of training that I use with my own clients. In my opinion, concurrent training is the best for getting stronger in a variety of different exercises, as well as building muscle as of right now. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. See you next week.